Shout out to my man Dre, FDA alum. Actually hit me up because he wanted to see, some of the stuff that we do here. So, let's get to it, man. This is the Hey Now podcast, man. Shout out to Fame NYC.
Shout out to Fame.
Shaq's here, Beloved's
Shaq
here.
is here, BX in the fucking building.
We got a special guest on this show, man. Somebody who I think is really changing the culture, putting out, positive, and good information, to try to help others, and that's something that we can't take for granted. And, yeah, man, so Rashad, man, from Earn Your Leisure podcast, man.
Welcome.
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 Welcome to the Heights. I know you spent some time, in the summer, bringing your son out here, to the Dykeman program, So let's get to it.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, man. Thank you.
Rashad Bilal. Do you listen to Bilal, the artist?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of his songs I like. His song with Kiss, that's like the one song that I listen to.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm a
Dope.
big Kiss fan, so.
Oh, you are? Yeah. I rock with Kiss. We used to come to Dykeman, get some work uptown, man. Fuck with Kiss when I was a young boy, man. Mess with Kiss, man. So let's get into it. So Rashad, I wanna to get your opinion on this new law that the governor from California passed. He actually signed it on the GOAT show, LeBron James, on the shop. He actually signed the paperwork, allowing, athletes, to kind of make revenue, off themselves, off their image, off their likeness, and kind of like start branding themselves, before, the NCAA, gets them. So I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion on that? Do you think that is something that is good for the athletes, or do you think that is something for the moment that you don't think that is gonna?
I think it's a domino effect. I mean, they still can't get paid from the schools, but they can get endorsements while they're in college in California. So it's interesting to see how it will play out. Like if more states will, fall in line. Because like how it stands right now, they're gonna be ineligible for like bowl games and stuff like that. The NCAA, because it's still illegal for the NCAA. So California is the biggest state in America, though. And it's a bunch of schools in California, a bunch of power.
Pac-10 is heavy out there, yo.
So something's gonna have to happen.
Pac-12.
And probably more states will fall in line, and before you know it, it'll just be every state that'll allow athletes to get paid. I think it's long overdue. I think that it makes sense, and why not? Like it's not hurting the NCAA if somebody wants to endorse a college player. Like I don't see how it hurts the team or the institutions. So I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea for sure.
Beloved, I know you always been, for the kids.
Yeah,
And
for
right.
the kids. I'm anti-free labor. America did that to us for over 400 years. I think they're being California. I think they're being a bit too soft with their demand. I think the schools do need to pay, on top of allowing the student athletes to make money off their likeness, because, Kev, you'll know this, you were a college athlete. When you're a college athlete performing at a high major program, your schedule is on par with a professional athlete. You have media commitments. You're on a strict schedule. You're traveling as much as a professional athlete during the school year. So to me, that still doesn't answer the issue of free labor. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you. I got some.
I'm still earning millions of dollars for the institution. The shoe companies are still paying these coaches millions of dollars for a product that I have to wear. So that still doesn't answer that question. So my whole thing is, even in negotiation, one of my OGs always told me, shouts out to my cousin Jimmy, if you want $10, you ask for 20. So they should ask
More.
for more. Because even this new law that was just signed, it doesn't go into effect until 2023.
Yeah.
So what happens between now and then? Kids are still going to be taking money under the table, still jeopardizing their eligibility over the next 4 years. So I feel like something needs to be put into effect.
A totally different perspective.
I feel okay. What is it?
And maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate because listen, I understand. I'm totally for you. We've been taking advantage of. I feel like the only reason athletes don't get paid now is because the most athletes are black and brown people, so that's why the system is the way it is. But you can't say it was free labor because they get an education. You get what I'm saying? You have
It's
to factor. All right, and then in playing devil's advocate, you gotta understand you're only as strong as your weakest link. So you can't give one athlete more, which is why I don't agree with this law or anything that they're trying to do, because they're catering to only the top athletes. When there's other kids that go to school and it's hard for them to wake up, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they're in a D2 or a D3 school and they're just trying to get an education or whatever they're doing. And it's already hard enough for them to balance school and the sport. Now you're attaching money to it, which is making it more competitive. You know what I'm saying?
But we're living in a society where the workforce is competitive.
This is very true.
You get paid according to what your responsibility and your experience is. Like, you're working in an organization. Nobody makes the same amount of money. You get paid according to your value.
But
so if I'm a top 25 prospect, All-American, I got 500,000 followers, I'm not going to get paid the same type. I should not get paid the same type of money as a kid who is a 3-star recruit.
Okay, so what?
It's a different level of expectation.
And this.
So when we go to the professional ranks,
So then
Kobe didn't get paid the same amount of money as Mark Madsen. I gotta drop 30. Mark Madsen, you wave a towel. We don't make the same amount of money.
What if the NCAA says something like this? If you are gonna be one of these players that are gonna make money off of your likeness, you're not getting a free education. You now have to pay that $50,000 a semester because you're not.
I have to counter that.
I'm just
because
saying,
the fact that I'm on campus, revenue goes up. College application fees.
The 50,000 don't add up.
It doesn't add
But I
up.
think more-
ESPN, like Zion Williamson,
okay. Again,
Duke benefits
I
from him
agree
being
with
on
you.
campus.
Playing devil's advocate, you can't base the school's revenue stream from their athletic program on individual students because it's not every year.
I think the argument is two different arguments. A school paying an athlete and a private company paying an athlete it's two different things. Because that's like if I have a full scholarship for academics,
Right.
I can get a job at Walmart and Target and make money. That has nothing to do with my full scholarship. It's an outside company that's paying me to work.
But it's illegal or it's against the the NCAA standards right now because it's in conflict with you're in school first.
But
you know what I'm saying?
if I'm in school for a full academic scholarship, right? Then I shouldn't be able to get a job. If that's the theory.
You're not. It's not really that's why you don't get paid.
No,
it's not a job. It's a sport that you're doing while you're in school.
You're not getting. All right. If I'm Nike and I'm endorsing you, right?
Right.
It had nothing to do with you. I'm endorsing you, so I'm making a decision as a company to pay you. So
invest in you.
Exactly.
I'm investing, but as it stands right now, Nike's investing in a school.
No, yeah, but
Why?
Because of the athletes that the school produces.
Okay.
And I agree. Like I said, I'm not against, but I'm saying the way it is, because ultimately, this is what I want to say. I just wish the NCAA would just get rid of that rule. That if the person takes money, they're ineligible to play. Just let the good students get money. Don't create a whole system behind it. Just let them get paid. and just don't take and just let that happen.
Let them rock.
But
And
I-
just let them rock.
But I think
Because you're playing favoritism, I feel like.
but it's not really like playing favoritism. Like he said, like let's say if a company I'm playing, right?
You're letting the company play favoritism on your.
But it's not playing favoritism. I'm a brand now. That's what you gotta understand. So if I'm a brand, right, and let's say fucking a mouth guard company, want to sponsor me,
Right.
then they're giving me that bread, my likeness, since they're gonna use my likeness, then I'm gonna get money for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Because
and then,
I'm investing,
again,
which is everything is a business at the end of the day.
playing devil's advocate, that student athlete again. Some of these student athletes are coming straight out of high school and they're just already on a platform that was there before them. The school already has a name built up. They're already, you know what I'm saying? So we see it all the time. Athletes get put in the spotlight and they're not that good.
But how is that harmful? All right, if Zion Williamson gets paid from Nike, how is that harmful?
Okay,
How is that harmful?
I'm glad you asked that question because it creates an atmosphere around the other students that's unhealthy.
It's already an atmosphere.
It's already unhealthy. Everywhere he steps foot at, like, oh, this nigga.
But people don't know he have money. I don't want to stab him and rob him.
I mean, I think that's a far stretch. I mean,
It could be until you hear it happen. Until you hear it happen. But if these athletes are now on this campus and they're getting paid and they're now flaunting money, situations are gonna happen.
But there's rich kids on campus all day.
Yeah, but
Trust fund babies. Yep.
I understand
Talk
that.
about
But
it.
the jealousy is not there from just watching somebody. You know what I'm saying? Come up. That's not really nobody. Now you just getting paid and you fronting and stunning on campus. I just see that's the thing right there.
Now let's
I
keep
just
it
feel
funky.
like you're I understand
They already flexing on campus.
I understand we want our athletes to get paid.
What's my man
but
name?
you gotta understand there's a whole institution
From Rice?
that is gonna be tainted because now
DC?
this is not just a college campus. That's all I'm saying.
played with cash.
This is now a job. It's not just
he
a college
interviewed here.
campus. It's a job now. This is supposed to be preparing you for a job.
Bro.
Now it's a job.
Basketball been a job once you turn 14 years old, bro.
Once
No,
somebody
not legally.
No,
It's not
once
legally.
somebody's paying money to come
14
see you
years old,
play,
bro.
it's a business.
It's this, bro.
Money
Like
exchange
it or not,
hands.
man.
You
Commerce.
know, when you pay for a kid to go, when you pay to go watch a kid in a Boys and Girls Club, you're not paying to watch that kid. You're paying the building to
Boys and
host.
Boys
You're
and
paying
Girls.
the building to host.
So what
this
happens
event.
So what happens when you go to Peach Jam? So what happens when you go to AAU in Florida? So
You're
what happens
paying
when
that organization to keep those jerseys on those kids' back, to
No.
keep that court painted nice. You're not paying the actual student. You're not paying the actual athlete.
But you're doing it for the athlete, though.
But they're not receiving any money,
We
and
don't
it's
know
not
that.
going.
Well, according to the NCAA, they're receiving some type of money. Oh, Dorvell, yeah.
Dorvell. Shouts out to Dorvell. Dorvell kept it real.
I
when he
just
came here about
want to
this.
give it what
out to
I thought was an
Dorvell.
interesting little perspective on it. You know what I'm saying?
Get your bread, guys.
That's how the schools are arguing this from the standpoint that I'm saying, and that's why I think it's got some type. It's got legs. The argument's got legs.
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't, man. And plus, like I always said, man, being on the campus with Sos in Louisville, with Rick Pitino, seeing all the money that was being generated, bro. Seeing how he was pulling up with Maserati and Lexus to fucking practice, nah, bro. While Derek Character over there struggling, trying to get a fucking double cheeseburger, nah, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
So why did Derek Character not have any money? And I guess also did.
He didn't have money.
So who was pulling up with the?
Oh, I'm Rick Pitino.
Oh, Rick Pitino, the coach.
Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino.
Because Adidas.
Adidas. You know,
Adidas.
He was
Had
the head
Adidas
dude
money.
over there.
He had enough money for the Maserati and prostitutes. But that's a subject for another day.
That's a different.
I think if this
Shout out to my man Francisco Garcia. I went to school with him. That's my guy.
Oh, you did. Oh, listen, man. Cisco, man, great guy, man. He took care of Sos, looked out for Sos. Last summer, actually, he was down in Florida while I was in Sos' crib, so he came by, Cisco don't change, man. He's a fucking big ass.
I haven't
kid,
seen him.
man.
I haven't seen him in like decades. But we went to prep school together in Massachusetts.
Oh, so you was out there with Curtis Stinson?
Let's talk about this. What prep school was you at?
Oh,
I was at Washington. I was there for half a year.
Washington. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Oh, so you was out there with Doug? Oh, man, we about to go right into this shit. The hell with all this other stuff, man. So, yeah, man. So I think you just did a beautiful segue, man. Cause we gonna transition. We gonna transition into your journey and into learning more about your journey. You know, where you came up. You know, where you from. Was you a hooper? Was you a boxer? I seen something on your on your IG. I don't know if you used to, lace up the boots. I don't know. I saw you hitting the speed bag. I was like, oh, alright, he know what the fuck he doing. So let's, I just give the people a gist, of who you are. Just a little background about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So before anything sports, that was like my first love, my first passion. I'm from the Bronx originally. I moved to Westchester when I was like 10 years old. That's where I grew up in Westchester. And Westchester, it's crazy because it's right next door to the city, but it always kind of gets looked over. Like you have Mount Vernon, that's real good, and people respect their basketball. But for the most part, as far as basketball, up until now, shout out to Team 914. But
we also came up with 914, man, the new Rochelle cats, man. Yeah.
It always got looked over. So I actually transferred. After my 11th grade year, I transferred to prep school.
From what school?
I was at Woodlands High School. It was like a small public school in Westchester. Nobody really heard of it, and we was good. But once again, I had dreams of going D1, and it was kind of hard to get seen like coming out of Westchester unless you was in Mount Vernon. Really, that's it. The only school in Westchester that really D1 players was coming out of. So, but I always played in the city. Like AAU, I played Gaucho Riverside. So I transferred after my 11th grade year to one of the top prep schools in the country. It's called Winchendon Academy. So that's what I met.
Academy.
Francisco and Curtis. My guy Kenny Minor. There's a bunch of
Yeah. Kenny Minor ended up going to Manhattan.
Yeah, he was with Jason Wingate at Manhattan.
Yeah, Mello's man. Jay Wingate's my guy too.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay too. I know him too. We used to play together at Riverside. It's crazy when Jay was like the #1 12-year-old in the country. We were the same age, and he was at Riverside. So I remember it's a lot of.
So was AJ Price with y'all too?
Nah.
He wasn't. Oh, okay.
But Keedron Clark, it was crazy. Keedron Clark got cut. I never forget. He was like 12 or maybe even like 11, something like that, and he got cut from the A team, and he was playing for the B team. So to see him, years later become the best out of all of them, really, because it was at that time Jason Wingate was the guy, and then. Nobody was really talking about Keedron. He was always undersized, and like I said, he got cut. I remember he got cut, and he just kept working on his game.
That's funny you said that because they actually used to play in Dykeman, their varsity team, right? And it was the same thing. Like he really didn't play, but then you could always tell that he could, that he can go. And then he went to St. Peter's, and then he showed that he could fucking
go. It was like 35 points a game or something.
For like 2 years.
Yeah.
Then went to overseas and then kept the working. So that's crazy.
But yeah, so I went to prep school. That was a major culture shock for me because that was the first time living away from home, and it was different because I was used to being the best player on the team, and then I'm in a school with like 10 high Division I players. And like Rick Pitino coming to practices and stuff it was crazy. So I went from being like one of the best to barely trying to find playing time. So it was a humbling experience, and it was difficult just being away from home in the sticks. Washington is really in the sticks for real.
Facts.
So I got into some trouble up there actually, and I got kicked out of school, to be honest. And so I came back, and I was out of school for like 6 months, and then I went to a camp, Eastern Invitational.
Yes.
Eastern Invitational.
Yeah, damn.
Okay, damn.
Kids don't know about this, man. They don't know about this.
Okay, keep going.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so then I met another guy named Jonah Boussard who was, they had just started a prep school in Florida called IMG Academy.
They just started you hear this guy? They just started a prep school called, okay, go ahead.
So then I went to IMG, so he recruited me to go to IMG, and I went to IMG, and that was like the best experience of my life. If anybody's not familiar, IMG, world-class training facility. So it was night and day. From Winchendon, we was eating McDonald's every day, and it was like the hood. Like, it was bad. And IMG was like palm trees, and we had a pool and
Good weather, good weather, good
Yeah.
weather. Over there, you was just snow and cold.
That bullshit Massachusetts.
Yo.
I just had to fuck with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, I made a lot of good relationships with IMG too. Shout out to my man Ramel Bradley from Brooklyn.
Oh,
He went to
Ramel
Kentucky.
Bradley, yeah.
My man Mike Beasley, he was on my team as well.
How was that, man? Mike Beasley.
Mike Beasley went to like 10 schools in high school,
Yeah,
but go ahead.
It was crazy. Mike Beasley, me and Mike Beasley, he was a good friend of mine when he was there, and it's crazy because he was in 8th grade. I think he was like 16 in 8th grade, but he played on the prep school team. And you could just tell he was just, some people are talented, some people is just God gifted. Like, you know what I mean? You could just tell his hands was like this big. He used to come late to practice. He never really worked hard, but he just was dominant. Like, you know what I mean? At that level. And so I always knew he was making it to the league. I always knew and it's unfortunate that his career never really, but it's not surprising because he always was that same person.
Right.
So when he got money, he just, it just amplified that.
Yeah.
But now Mike was a good dude. Ronaldo Bulkman, he was in the league for a little bit. But yeah, it was just interesting to be around that. And a lot of the NBA players actually came down to train.
To work out down there, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because somebody that I interviewed on the podcast, my man Al Harrington. And the first time I met Al Harrington was at IMG. He used to train at IMG. So he didn't remember that. I'm like, I was like 15 years ago. But I always remember he always had a smile on his face. He always had good energy. And he just kept that same energy now. So yeah, I was doing that. And then I went to UMBC, which is like a mid-major school in Maryland.
UMBC, right.
And I was there for 2 years. And my first year was great. Like I was like the man on the team. And then the second year, actually, me and the coach got into it. And I went from being like the man on the team to like coming off the bench. So me and the coach got into it, and I ended up getting kicked off the team, actually. I had a bad attitude when I was in school, yeah.
I was going to ask you to elaborate on the other situation. It's a lot of situations.
It's a lot of situations.
Nah, it's a fact.
I'm just going to go with the flow.
So I ended up getting kicked off the team, but luckily for me, it's always a very fortunate person. The coach that recruited me there, he used to work for a coach in Hawaii, University of Hawaii, Hilo. Shout out to everybody in Hawaii. And long story short, I always had a dream of Hawaii. Like growing up, I don't know.
So don't tell me you end up going to school in Hawaii.
Yeah, I did. So that was like a blessing because Hawaii obviously was a lot better than Baltimore.
So when you first got out there, did they put the shit around your neck? The little
Yeah, that's a fact.
they put the lay around you. You was hype.
Yeah, it's a whole culture out there.
I ain't gonna front. I'm hyped for that too. I'm dying. That's the only reason I wouldn't do that with the little dance.
Yo, I was supposed to go to Hawaii like 17 years ago. Like one of my cousins was supposed to get married, but then the wedding got canceled.
It was tight.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, that was crazy. Hawaii is
I
dope
just let
though.
out some
Hawaii was
family
alright.
business.
Hawaii's
So, sorry.
So I want to ask you, man. So you go from, sorry to cut you off. You go from being a little homesick, once you get to
Massachusetts.
prep school, right?
Yeah.
You transition to Florida where everything's all peaches and cream, right? Then you go to Maryland for school. And then from there, you end up in Hawaii. So when did you say like, I'm built for this now?
Yeah, I just kind of go along with the flow. Like even with boxing, like one of my favorite boxers is Floyd, and I'll never forget when he fought Conor McGregor. And at the end of that fight, they interviewed Conor, and Conor said like he's not Floyd. It's not that quick. He's not that fast. He doesn't have a lot of power. Like, but he's composed. And you gotta keep your composure. So all of these ups and downs just kind of taught me just to keep my composure.
What nationality are you?
African American, black.
Just black guy. Just making sure. All right. Because there's some Caribbean in that, like to keep your composure. That's a Caribbean vibe.
Shout out to the Caribbean. But yeah, so I mean, it's just been like those situations. Is like right when I thought like, damn, it's like this is it, and it's like always something better. Right. And that's still like even in business now. I tell people all the time like you just gotta keep your composure because just when you think you hit rock bottom, that's when your biggest blessing is gonna come. But you just gotta stay steady.
Shut up, yeah.
Stay positive.
On
point, man. You hit on point on that, man. So how was that experience out there?
Nah, it was dope, man. It was like just life changing experience, like just to go out there and like I said, it's a different culture. It's 10 hours from New York on a plane, so it's in America, but it's really like a different country. Really,
Right.
it's a whole different vibe. Everybody's laid back, super nice. We did a lot of traveling, that was good too. Always like to travel, so we got to see. That was like my first time going to LA, going to Arizona, we went to Alaska, went to all up and down the West Coast. San Francisco, so it was just dope. Once again, just made a lot of good relationships, good friends. Yeah, so that was a dope experience for me for sure.
Fine.
That's fine. So what was your next steps after you was done?
So after that, I came home and I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life. So I actually went overseas to Germany.
Okay.
And I went over there for a little bit. But in the middle of doing that, I was training, but I started studying to be a financial advisor. I always wanted to do business, always wanted to do finance, but I didn't really know what area I wanted to go into. So the financial company at the time that I started with, called Penn Mutual, they had a program where it takes like 5 months to get licensed to be a financial advisor. You got to pass a couple of tests. So they pretty much like paid me like $2,000 a month to study. So as I was studying, I was getting paid, but I was working out as well, because I really wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go into, so I was kind of doing both. And then I went to Germany, and it was okay, but the contract wasn't really great. And at the time, I really started to lose the passion and the love for basketball, because I had been playing basketball my whole life. And I developed tendonitis in my knee, and it took a lot for me to even play. Like I had to like warm up and ice after, and it just wasn't fun anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So I just made a decision, like, you know, I didn't really want to go overseas. I just wanted to just start my life. So I tried my hat at being a financial advisor. That was 11 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since.
Lit.
That's fine. So
Fire.
so now you're a financial advisor, right?
You work for a specific company or yourself?
Yeah, so I have my own firm. I'm independent. And
Ooh.
Independent.
Looking for some.
What's the name of this firm?
the name of the firm is the Bilal Group LLC.
The Bilal Group.
Bilal.
The Bilal, yo.
So we're gonna play some Bilal at the end of this interview, and nobody's gonna give me pushback about it.
Yo, we was vibing.
We was vibing,
flowing.
but I'm okay. You're right. So financial literacy is a big Achilles heel in our community, from credit score,
Everything.
everything,
Yes.
home ownership,
Investing, home ownership,
stocks, savings, income ratios. So that's a very heavy subject that we have to tackle as a people, because a lot of times
Not everybody's open to it. Either.
not everybody's open to it, because we don't want to discuss our financial situation out of insecurity. But I'm of the belief that we got to talk about where we are financially in order to address where we're lacking in order to get better. So the journey that you're on as a financial investor, you're taking on a huge responsibility, not just for yourself, but for all of us to make better, sound financial decisions. So a lot of times I always tell people, like, it's not about what you make, it's about what you save and what you do with your money. So choices play a major role in what your life looks like in the next 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, it's all education. I tell people all the time. It's like you can be rich with a poor mindset. You're gonna end up broke.
Church.
Or you could be poor with a rich mindset. You're always gonna be able to get money.
It is.
But it's like that's why a lot of rappers and entertainers, athletes, they go broke, because it doesn't really matter how much money you get. If you spend and you got poor spending habits, eventually you're gonna be back to being broke again. And that's something that, you know, education, they can never take knowledge out of your brain.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might fall on hard times, but once you have the information, you know how to get money, you're gonna always bounce back because you know how to do it. But if you just luck up and you just get like the lottery, but you don't really understand how money works, you never had a system in place, you lose the money, now you screwed because you don't know, you never taught yourself how to get money. So it's the same thing for athletes. A lot of athletes, you know, they play sports their whole life, but they don't understand how money works. So they get money, but they don't know what to do with it.
No, I mean, I tell a lot of people, you can make $1 million. If you spend $1,001, you're officially in debt.
Yeah, it's a fact.
That's funny you said it, because I actually started seeing that more when I started boxing. and I started being around boxers and pro boxers and like Josue Vargas, Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx. He first signed to Floyd when he was like 16, 17, right? Floyd signed him after he sparred Tank. But like the contract,
Like Tank the singer?
No, Tank the boxer.
Tank this thing. Javante Davis.
Yeah. Nigga said Tank the
Okay. Let us keep going.
Light skinned one from Baltimore.
Yeah. Nah,
Javante Tank Davis.
Yeah, you good. We'll talk about it later.
I know Javante Davis, but I didn't know they called him the Tank.
Guys, let's.
We digressing. Man, so with them, like he ended up signing with Floyd, and like he was 17 at the time. He didn't have a lawyer present. He didn't have his father there. You know, like he just ended up signing that contract. You know, and he ended up kind of fucked. You know, even though he's out of it, he's with Top Rank now, but. You know, I totally understand where you're coming
Bob Arum, he's a piece of shit too. Keep going.
Yo, Terrence Crawford. Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Boxing industry is ruthless, man.
Yo, man, like I always heard about it, but like to actually see, man, and what those fighters go through, and then they just be getting, you know, shitted on, man. It's crazy. So now, what made you decide to do a podcast, you know, based, you know, on financial, you know, literacy, you know, and highlighting those things that as us consumers you would be like, damn, man, these athletes, you know, these artists, you know, they're making so much money, but in reality, you know, they're like blowing that money out, you know, and you're kind of like highlighting those things. So like, what made you, you know, want to do that?
You know,
or share that information?
I mean, it started. Honestly, the podcast was an accident because I was building my own personal financial. So I wanted to be like the financial guy on Instagram. Like, so I spent like a year and a half building my own personal profile on Instagram.
Right.
And the financial industry is very regulated, so I can't really talk about like investing or insurance, like anything that I do on,
you ain't trying to
on
get
the
Martha
internet.
Stewart.
I can't do that on the internet. So I had to find a way to market myself without actually talking about what I do. So I found sports and entertainment as my niche because that's something that I always loved music and sports. So I would take like contracts and like break it down. I would like tie pop culture in with money and make it a little bit more entertaining. And people really liked it and it was entertaining for them. So then from there, people just wanted like an extended dialogue, like, cause I did like a video about 50 Cent, the vitamin water deal, like I broke it down.
People don't know he banked off that mom.
Yeah, so like people like, yo, you should have a podcast, cause like they want more than just 60-second clips. So I'm like, all right. So I asked my best friend Troy if he wanted to be my partner and do the podcast with me, and he's like, yeah. So we started the podcast, and like I said, the podcast was really supposed to just be as an extension of my page. But the podcast actually blew up and became bigger than my page, so it just kind of took on a life of its own. And yeah, that's how it all started.
So I wanted to ask you, you know, how did you come up with that formula, you know, to make it interesting, you know, so that people could be like, we want more?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of it was trial and error. Just trying to see, like when I first started out, you know, I tried different things and see what would catch a reaction. And once I found out, like, okay, this is what they like as far as sports entertainment, and then I just kind of doubled down on it and just drilled in on it. And me, like, I have like a real compulsive personality. Like, I don't really drink, I don't smoke, but like when I'm into something, like I become addicted to it. So like that's the same way I was with sports. Like I would work out every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I just took that same work ethic to podcast, and I literally treated social media like a job. Like I was up, even now, I'll be up to like 4 o'clock in the morning, like really working on social media. And that's another thing too, people don't understand, like social media is a job. Like if you're trying to be successful in anything, it's gonna take time. And it's not going something that's gonna happen overnight. So I kind of just saw like what was working, and then from there I just kind of just figured it out from there. So like even with Instagram, like, you know, I would put different clips up, and then I saw like that was a formula that worked, and then like putting like captions on top of the videos, I saw that worked. And then everything I just saw that worked, I just, just kept working at it and just like, try things out, see if people like it, if they don't like it, and then just kind of take it from there. But I think everybody's journey is different. What works for me might not work for somebody else.
Right.
But that's just kind of just what worked for
Especially
me.
with social media, it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's trial and error. It's trial and error. But consistency is the hardest part. That's the hardest part. You just gotta be consistent.
So, the name of it is Earn Your Leisure, right?
Yeah.
How did that name come about?
Yeah, it's funny. My partner Troy, we was coming up with names. So before the podcast, I'm like, I need a hashtag. Because everybody has a hashtag. He's like, Earn Your Leisure should be a hashtag. I ain't really I wasn't crazy about the name. But I'm like, I'll run with it. And then people really liked the hashtag. So I'm like, all right. But even when we started the podcast, I was thinking of names. And the first name that I wanted to name the podcast was Money, Power, Respect. But, legally I didn't know, like, I didn't want Puff coming in trying to sue us. And
cease and desist.
and it wasn't, it was somebody else's. So Troy was like, yo, you already got the hashtag Earn Your Leisure. Why don't you just go with that? So I'm like, all right, screw it.
And it just bigs up the hashtag. You're right.
Yeah, so
I like the Earn. I really like Earn. I really like it.
Yeah, people like it. So, but yeah, at first I like it now, but at first I really didn't like it.
You wasn't rocking with it.
Yeah.
You had to see it for yourself to see what was hitting.
Yeah, but that's another thing too. You just gotta put things out. Like some episodes, I'd be like, I don't even want to put them out because I don't think they're gonna get a good reaction, and those be like the most popular episodes. So you never know. It's like music. Like you never know.
Embrace the fear and do it anyway.
Just put it out and let the public decide.
But what I realized with this podcast and doing anything like this is you gotta kind of wait for it to settle in. People gotta settle into it. Like the Earn Your Leisure, when you first hear it, it's like, you know what I'm saying. But then if you pay attention, it just makes sense, and then that's when you fall in love with it. You know what I'm saying? So and that's to me the kind of supporter that you really want. Somebody who, you know what I'm saying, who really understands your brand and understands it in all aspects. You know what I'm saying?
I agree for sure.
So another thing I wanted to ask you in regards to your podcast, as far as the episodes, as far as what you want to put out, as far as financial, how do you go about that? Do you look like stock market and shit like that, or do you look at?
I mean, the good thing about having a business podcast, financial podcast, whatever, is that you can talk about anything.
Because
everything relates to business in some form or fashion. So we talk about education, we talk about stocks, real estate, we talk about law, we talk about, sports, entertainment, music. It all can tie in. Like even with Kenny Burns,
Kenny Burns, one of the original brand guys.
Yes.
That was the bridge between culture and the corporations.
Yes.
Kenny Burns.
Yes, beloved. Yes.
That's a fact.
No, it is.
No, I know, beloved. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, man, I get you.
So yeah, I was listening to that episode. It's not out yet, but he's talking about there's this famous club in Atlanta called Compound, and he's one of the promoters in Compound, and he was talking about how the most they made in one night was $700,000. That's a lot of money to make in a club.
Facts.
That's a business. Promoting parties is a business. Like, people don't think about it like that. But what's the markup of Hennessy in a club? You might be able to buy a bottle for $40 and it's $500 in a club. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
That's a business.
It
you
is.
know what I'm saying? So
it's no joke. It's exactly the markup.
Beloved.
$40 to $5.
There's a lot of Kenny Burns's. Puma, y'all owe us money.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into Puma.
We're not gonna get into that.
We can't get into Puma right now.
I'll leave that alone. But listen, the financial literacy piece. Are we headed for a recession?
yeah, that's what everybody thinks.
No, but I want to hear from you because I need to know. Should I liquidate my stock options or should I sit? What's going on?
Nah, just stay on.
And I'm not trying to make you do insider trading, none of that.
Trying to get my man caught up, yo.
I'm not trying to get you caught up. But
what's wrong with you, yo?
I'm sorry. Don't try to Takashi me. I'm not a snitch.
I don't know right now. That's how you looking like right
No,
now.
I'm anti-Takashi. But listen, what could you tell us? Can you forecast what's going on?
I can't forecast what the future, but it's probably a high possibility in the next 18 months that we'll have a mild recession or some form of major.
So when you say mild recession, the recession that resembles what we experienced 6-7 years ago, or some Great Depression shit?
Well, 2008 was the worst recession outside of the Great Depression in American history. So that was severe. That was a severe recession. I don't think it'll be as bad as that. Hopefully it's not as bad as that.
No, still.
So it won't require a stimulus package.
Hopefully not. I mean, but like I said, we never know. It's all this stuff is speculation.
So the recession don't matter to black people, bro.
No,
We
it
struggling
does.
every day, every goddamn day,
So,
bro. We struggling
Questions,
every day.
because I'm trying to get my money. So Bitcoin.
That's that Massachusetts shit. Y'all hear this nigga? This nigga ain't from the hood.
No, my parents are hardworking.
Go ahead.
Liquidating stocks. You should
So-
be ashamed of yourself.
No, so Bitcoin. Talk to me.
Yeah, Bitcoin. What you want to know about it?
Is this really sustainable or
Nigga, big facts. I got money there.
It's speculative. We don't know.
speculative?
Once again, I mean,
Can't-
Bitcoin. The thing about Bitcoin is that it's
Should I ask you this off camera?
Nah, it's a good idea in theory, but it's not. It doesn't have any practical use right now. So like if you invest in stock, right?
All right. Let me ask you a better question. Cause you understand Bitcoin,
To a certain extent.
but I don't. Cause that's. I don't want to get you in trouble, so I want you to talk about something that's
I
not.
can talk about it. I was just saying, as far as like if you're talking about stock, right? You buy shares of a company.
Okay.
So if you buy Apple, right, like that's a real company. Everybody has an iPhone. They got billions of dollars in real estate. They got thousands of employees. So if Apple falls apart, the whole world is going to be affected by that.
Okay.
The world economy is going to be affected by that.
Mhm.
That's a real tangible thing. Now, Bitcoin, on the other hand, if Bitcoin just completely disappeared today, it doesn't affect anybody. I mean, people will lose money, but that's it. It doesn't affect. It's not. So it's all based on speculation,
Okay.
right? Even now, you
Speculative.
can't buy these
Yeah,
sneakers
exactly.
for Bitcoin.
I don't have any Apple products, so if Apple fell apart, I'd be good.
No, but a lot of people
Yeah,
have Apple
yeah,
products,
yeah.
bro.
I got an iPhone.
yeah,
like,
but-
I have an iPhone. I have a
That nigga's
MacBook.
weak.
Yeah.
It's a weak link. You gotta chill out.
I mean, Bitcoin, like I said, it could possibly change the world.
But what
or it could
I
possibly
wanted to
fizzle
ask
out.
you was, all right, Akon is starting Acoin. So I want you to compare, like Bitcoin to some, because there's a lot, because people no longer at this point feel like you're not gonna get the big money hit off of investing in Bitcoin today. But Acoin is something that's like Bitcoin that's starting up. So as a financial advisor,
So there's what's called altcoins. So in cryptocurrency, there's Bitcoins and there's altcoins.
okay,
Altcoins are every coin that's not Bitcoin, right? There's thousands of altcoins,
okay,
like Ripple, Litecoin,
Right,
Ethereum. There's like 1,000 of them, right? So
there's even different dimensions of Bitcoin. Bitcoin
right,
Cash,
Gold,
Bitcoin
Gold,
Lite,
yeah, right, exactly. But there's only one Bitcoin.
right.
So the thing about it is that the altcoins, it's like penny stocks. Like the idea is that they have more room to grow. You can make more money because, like you said, I mean, Bitcoin's already kind of established, right? But
Right.
with that, there's a lot more risk. Bitcoin, I think, will be here. Like Bitcoin, I'm pretty confident in. A lot of those altcoins, they don't have any value. Like it's like anybody.
Like Bitcoin, yeah.
Well, true, but at least Bitcoin has the belief of the people, and they have a huge market share. Like 50% of cryptocurrency is just Bitcoin. So
Correct.
they're like the lion
They are.
in the whole cryptocurrency space. With the other, it's just like anybody. I can make a coin and just name it the Rashad coin. Like you know what I'm saying? Like anybody can make a coin.
And I'm just picking your brain
Nah,
as of right now because I don't like to admit it because I'm not bougie like my partner over there, but I'm an avid investor. You know what I'm saying? So if
Is it bougie or
But what you said.
I'm trying to just make
you
us
talking
better?
about liquidating stocks, bro.
Nah.
Gotta slow down.
But what you just said, you joking, but it's important though.
No,
because
I am. I'm
It's-
real serious.
That we gotta stop thinking like that though, because
Oh yeah.
there's no shame in investments. Like
There's
you're
no
supposed
shame
to have investments. Like you know what I'm saying. That's one of the good things I like about even the music. Like it's like Rick Ross, he could keep it a secret that he owns all these Wingstops.
Right.
But why? Like you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying. It's like it's not. You're not a nerd if you invest.
No, you're not.
You
No, I'm
making
just
money.
picking- I'm
Like, you
just
know what I'm
picking
saying?
on
No. I'm just saying. But a lot of people unfortunately have that mindset, and it's an unfortunate way of thinking, and it's a way of thinking that a lot of people have, and that kind of cripples people because a lot of times people think that investing is over their head
Right.
or
They
it's too
can't do it.
complicated.
They can't do it
They
right.
can't do it, and they just stay in their lane. But it's not. It's not really that complicated at all. Once you understand it, it's like anything else.
I got I'm gonna.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I got one more because you talked about Bitcoin being the lion, and altcoin being everything but Bitcoin.
Rashad, this is Drew.
Yeah,
he owns
He's the owner. He's the owner of the store.
Yo, so what you
Boss.
tanning?
Boss.
I was all over, man.
You look like are you having tan?
My guy,
bro?
my guy.
I know it's 90 with that.
Vacation, he was out there.
Good, healthy, happy.
You know,
Looking healthy and happy.
traveling USA.
My guy, that's my guy, Drew. I see Drew.
Chillin' like
Man,
that.
yo.
Chill.
Yo, the hookah lit for you, right?
It's lit, it's lit.
Are you cool like this?
Yo.
Can we get some help with the door?
So good.
No.
No. Eli. Oh, can you just close that door, Eli? Yeah. Oh, my guy. Go ahead, Sean.
So yeah, you talked about Bitcoin being the lion and every other, and all these altcoins being everything else but Bitcoin, and how they don't really have an identity yet. So that's why they're a little least trustworthy. But hypothetically, we talked about Apple falling. What if Bitcoin fell? Wouldn't one of these other companies benefit now?
I mean, possibly, but also, I mean, I think my personal opinion is that if Bitcoin fully collapsed, the whole industry is going to collapse because it's so dominant, and I don't see that, the faith in cryptocurrency would be gone.
Will be gone because Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Just I like that.
So,
Needed that.
So I have a question. So I see this is kind of off
Go ahead.
kilter. I see you have your Ralph Lauren jacket with a Ralph Lauren headwear piece. Are you a low head?
No, I'm not a low head. I'm not a low head.
You're not a low head.
I rock with, polo. I like polo, but I'm not a low head, though. I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
yeah.
So, but you know what I mean when I ask you that.
Of course,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
of course.
All right. Go ahead.
Because it's a very nice piece. It's very in particular. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's like anybody. You picked it out. It's very nice.
Thank
Well
you.
put together.
Appreciate
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
So, what I was gonna ask you, you just you made a good point when you was saying how Shaq, not to be kind of nervous or shy when it comes to wanting to know like the information about business.
Yeah.
One thing with your podcast, and I think one of the reasons why it's so popular is because you speak our language. And I think that's what also helps a lot. Because I think once the big words come into play, when it comes to business, I think a lot of people shy away from it because they're like, I'm not smart enough for this. I don't think I can do it. But once you sit down and listen to your joint, actually, my homegirl Carrie, who I went to high school with, once she found out I was going to have you on the show, she was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, I was literally like with X, Y, and Z, and we was like listening to the podcast, and it's like, it made perfect sense because I understood their language. It's like they talking like us. So I think that's dope, and also what you brought up to Shaq saying like, no, like you should talk more about any investment that
I think that's one of the benefits, like rest in peace to Nipsey, but that was like one of the things.
I see you got Pumas on. The marathon continues.
Big facts.
That's a fact.
But speak on that.
Nah, I think I was a big Nipsey Hussle fan, and one of the things that I liked about him is that he is who he is, right? He's not hiding who he is. He was a gang member from Rolling 60s, Crenshaw, but also
shout out to Demon Low. He took me through there with the crew.
No, we not shout out.
You gonna edit that?
Yeah,
Okay, fine. Edit that.
So, he never tried to hide his intelligence.
That's true.
And he never tried to like dumb down his intelligence. And he talked about financial literacy was like one of the main things that he really spoke about, investing and all kinds of real estate and different stuff like that, and opportunity zones. So it's like you see this guy with tattoos on his face. He's a gang member, but he's talking about real estate. He's talking about investing and diversifying your portfolio and stuff like that. And I really appreciated him for that because he didn't change who he was. He's a product of his environment, but you can just tell that he was bigger than that. Like, you know what I mean, he didn't get limited in just this is my corner, this is my street. Like, his mind was open to the world. And I think we all have to, we know we can't be limited to our surroundings because it's difficult. You can get caught up and just stay in your block, in your area. And that's one of the good things with basketball, even with me traveling all over these different places, is that it really expanded my mind. And I got to see different things and experience different cultures. And it helped me think on a higher level than just, you know, dealing with my day-to-day where I come from.
Fire. So what made you get into teaching financial literacy, like to the youth? That part.
Yeah. So my best friend Troy, who's the podcast, he's a teacher, and he used to teach.
What grade he teaches?
Now he does elementary school.
Oh, God bless.
Okay, God bless.
God bless.
I just got out the DOE.
I'm trying to get out of there.
Shout out to Common Artists. We currently on tour.
What? How you go from DOE to go ahead, man. How you go from DOE to Common
Was in
Artists?
France, Canada. I'm tired though. But go ahead,
But yeah, but he used to teach middle school in the Bronx, uptown
Yeah.
in the Bronx.
God bless.
Middle school is the worst.
Yep. And it
Word?
was like one of the worst schools where he was at.
Sounds about right. But go ahead.
So he asked me to come in. It was like a career day one time, and I was like, I used to hate school. I always hated school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never liked school. So like,
Where the future lies.
well, so I never wanted, like once I finished school, I never wanted to go back to school. But he asked me to come in and like career day, like talk to his kids. So I said I would do it, and I actually enjoyed myself. Like I enjoyed it. And then from there, he has a 6-week program that he runs during the summertime. And like for kids that's like 14, like they're too old for camp but too young to work. And it's like a 6-week like internship program, and they go to colleges and they have like classroom training. It's like a whole thing. So like part of it is a financial literacy. So he asked me to come in and teach a class once a week for 6 weeks. And I agreed. And he really helped me because I didn't know how to, teaching is hard. It's not as easy as it looks. Mm-hmm. So he taught me how to like teach, like keep people's attention, break it up, and group discussions and stuff like that. So that helped me as far as like financial literacy, because now I can actually teach it. And then me having a finance background, I was doing that. So now even with what we do now, it's like, it's a combination. It's really financial literacy because like he's a teacher and I'm a financial advisor. So it's education and finance.
Oh, he's in the class with you.
In the summertime, yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And what age group is that? Because you said they're too young.
It's like 14. It's like 14, something like
so
that.
They're
It's like 9th to 10th grade
something
to go to camp.
They're too old to go to camp, but too young to work.
I think you gotta I think the work 16. I think you gotta be to work.
Yeah, 16. Yeah. Some of you.
Yeah, so like at 15, 14, 15, it's like you can't go to camp, and what happens is the kids just do nothing all day, play PlayStation or if you don't have nothing to do it, you get in trouble.
Fire. To see that niche and create something for that,
Yeah, that's dope.
that's fire. That's fire.
And it's always dope when you have somebody, I always say, when you have somebody that look like you come from where you come from, it makes things, more interesting, and I think it engages more the kids because they're like, damn, man, he's from where we from, so if he could do that, then why we can't
At the end of the day, yeah, kids don't forget too, especially at that age, they're gonna reflect back to any situation that was there to help them when they get older. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be appreciated. If it's not appreciated, and you're teaching a financial literacy class there, that's hands down, y'all are doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what y'all meant to do, but that's what y'all doing. And I give my hats off to you guys.
No, man, seriously, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Because and the reason why we was actually talking about this earlier before you went on your rant, a lot of people don't like to share information.
They want to keep you in the dark.
They want to keep you in the dark, or if they do it.
So I gotta speak on this because we was talking about this off air. What you're doing is very powerful. The rant that I'm referring to, Kev is a grassroots community organizer, genius level thinker, especially when it comes to basketball, art, culture, music. Me also. And what will happen is we'll have a lot of people who work at brands, your Pumas, your Converse, your Nikes, your whoever's. No, I'm gonna speak on it.
Oh, Puma hoops.
And,
got it from that.
And what we'll do is we'll get together and we'll build decks, that discuss what we need to do moving forward, where there's a need, filling in the gaps. And we'll have people of color or, Caucasians or Asians call us and ask us, yo, what do you think? What should we do? Who should we sign? We're having issues with strategy. And they want us to give them intellectual property, but not bring us in on the deal. And a lot of times we see a lot of brands doing things the wrong way because they want to be the only people at the table making decisions. So I've been on a crusade with Kev to highlight a lot of these things because it's like there's a difference between you being a corporation where, yeah, you're on blogs, you're crunching numbers, but it's not the same thing as someone who's on the ground, who's experiencing what's happening or being a part of the grassroots experience. And these corporations need to put more value on the grassroots experience.
Yeah, I mean, corporations they outdated though. So you can't really rely on them to do anything.
Big facts. That's
outdated.
I didn't even never heard nobody say
and the thing is,
about that.
yeah, outdated.
Crazy.
And then you have a lot of people of color. They want to be the only people at the table.
That's a fact.
You don't own the corporation.
Don't talk about Jay-Z like that.
You don't own the corporation.
Talk about Jay-Z like
Bring in the grassroots people so we can do the things the right way and spread the wealth. You don't own the corporation, but go ahead, champ. I'm sorry.
We gotta get at. You gotta get at some of these tables.
You don't own the corporation. Puma, you owe me and Kev millions of dollars.
Wait, were we still on that? We finished that? Cause now we went into.
I'm sorry, but go ahead.
And there's another controversy.
He's wearing Puma, so it hijacked me.
I wouldn't have wore Pumas if I knew it was beef.
Listen, me, Kev, Cash, Stan, Riz, we worked on a deck back in 2015, and we told them you need to come back into basketball. They told us to start a blog. I don't sell gossip for a living. Kev, do you sell gossip for a living? We don't sell gossip for a living.
Yo, fast forward to now, it's Puma.
Now you over here giving Kyle Kuzma $20 million. There's a whole department, but you told us to kick rocks. We had Chris Brickley on the platform a year and a half ago. They told me, why are we going to give a trainer a sneaker deal? Now look. You don't own the corporation.
Look at your head.
Puma gave him a deal.
Puma gave him a deal.
Chris Brickley?
Who's that?
Chris Brickley got a Puma deal, bro. He's a multi.
A 7-figure deal.
Bro, he just had a collaboration just dropped Puma and Colorblind together, bro. Yeah.
Who's that?
We need to get him back on the show.
Chris Brickley, he actually went to Louisville with
Act like
Sos.
you know us. And,
he
come back
ended
on the
up-
show.
He ended up being
It's
an
very
assistant.
dangerous when people of color who work at these corporations, okay, you're just a house nigger.
Hey.
Know what I mean? We in the field. You need to listen to us.
Listen, how you feel about this?
Wait, hold on. Let me explain to him who C. Brickley is.
Oh yeah.
So he went to Louisville with Sos. Then he went grad assistant at Ole Miss. Then he was a trainer. He was an assistant at Fairleigh Dickinson, and then he was an assistant trainer with the Knicks.
Okay.
So he ended up building a bond with Carmelo.
Okay.
Once he started training Carmelo, that's when he had everybody.
Oh, that's the guy that
be having the runs down in the city.
This is from
place called
2015, bro.
Scott, yeah. So C Brick.
2015.
So
That's right.
C Brick is my
Go
guy.
swipe down.
So when he
2015, if you think I'm
was
lying.
here, he was talking about how East Bay was trying to give him a deal, whatever the case may be. But we had told Puma like, hey, we should know.
They told us to go start a blog.
I should give him.
I'm not TMZ. We not
They looked at
TMZ.
us funny. Rewinding now, a few months ago, he signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Puma.
And what's the deal include?
Merch.
Like he's gonna design merch for them, or he's just gonna be
He got his own.
Endorsing,
His own
and he
line.
has a capsule collection, colorblind, his
So now
brand
it's gonna be
with Puma.
collabs.
No, it just dropped on Monday.
I mean, I'm hearing that. That's
So,
shout out to Chris Brick, bro. He ain't out here getting his fucking bag. I ain't
See,
gonna lie.
Brick-
I was behind the scenes advocating. They told us we were crazy.
Yeah. So it's been interesting. So
There's enough room for everybody to eat. So I'm glad I'm having this rant with someone who teaches and lives financial literacy. What we see happening a lot now is corporations are tapping us for IP.
So do you feel like the Jay-Z
And they don't want to give us our just due.
Oh,
I
how
mean,
you feel
so
about this?
I need you to be on some Clarence Avon shit right now, some Al Heyman shit right now, and make sure we get our just due. Have you watched The Black Godfather on Netflix?
Nah, I ain't watching yet.
Watch that tonight. That's your homework
Wait,
assignment.
the Black Godfather
Youngin,
is on Netflix?
It's on
Epics.
it's on Netflix. Watch The Black Godfather on Netflix. Give us our just due, cause I feel away.
Listen, all right. I just want to know.
So last question before, cause my guy gotta go home, man. Go ahead.
But yo, real talk. Watch that though.
Now I'm gonna check it out.
Because you're this generation's Clarence Avon as it pertains to
That's a fact.
financial literacy. When you watch that, you're gonna hear Kevin say, "Yo,
that
your
ass.
man's a little crazy, but he right though."
No, deadass.
I've heard of it. People have been telling me about it, but I ain't watching it.
No. When you get some time, you just sit down, man. You gonna be like, really, what you doing, yo? That's what you becoming, deadass.
We're gonna end it controversial then. We're gonna end it on this. We're gonna end it controversial. And we're gonna say, listen, right now, Luke, which is a respected Miami citizen, is saying, because the NFL is in Miami and the halftime show doesn't have it, he feels it's Jay-Z's bugging responsibility that it's not a Miami artist performing in a halftime show when it's J-Lo and Shakira. J-Lo and Shakira, by the way, at a football game. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that is his responsibility, or there's something that he's not doing?
He has to advocate
properly?
He has to
Do
advocate.
you feel like he's lacking?
I mean, I think that's an easy fix. You get Pitbull on there. You get Flo Rida on there.
Pitbull.
My man's international, dog. Don't hate him.
I'm not hating.
My guy used to be a
But
Lego
after
ass.
watching 15 niggas beat each other up, I don't think I want to watch Pitbull
for the
during the halftime
For the
show.
Super Bowl, you're not going to get Rick Ross. Like, you know what I mean? You got to...
You ain't gonna get that.
No, we gotta get Ross and the whole MMG.
I would have Ross, because Ross gonna bring
Too much
bitches
niggas.
out.
No, we do.
Yo,
We gotta crash the party.
Yo, all right, man.
Ross
I think
We good? I love this. Yo, this is
We gotta get all the Zos.
So
All the Zos. Yeah, you heard me. Zo pound. La Yunde Foss.
no, we're not doing that right now. Yeah, we're not doing that right now. Rashad, so what's next, man?
Haitians are in the Bronx.
Yo,
Shouts out to the 25 line.
I'm gonna take the Henny couple.
174.
It's a big facts.
Yeah.
It's a big fact.
Yeah, I love my culture.
Man, so what's next for Earn Your Leisure?
That was crazy.
Earn Your Leisure, we got a few things working. We're starting a monthly workshop that we're going to be doing. Different Earn Your Leisure guests is going to be coming on teaching a different topic. So that first one is 10/17. That's going to be in Brooklyn. It's going to be financing for real estate.
Oh, in Brooklyn. Okay.
So that's going to be, check the earnyourleisure.com events tab. But yeah, other than that, we got a couple things working on a book.
Claude Anderson, Powernomics, you read that?
I haven't read that.
Okay, read that.
Listen, listen everywhere you can listen to Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah, you can check us out on every platform: Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube.
Earn Your Leisure, one word.
It's 3 words.
I mean, it's like you know what I mean. When you, I guess it's podcast. It's not an Instagram name. My bad. I was just trying to. Yo, I'm glad you on point. I'm glad you on point. I was asking that nigga if it's nigga said it's 3 words. I'm about to say, motherfucker, you know what I'm talking about. Nah, you right. You right. Podcast about an IG name.
Nigga say, yeah, yo. Nigga say, yeah, you know that's one word. No.
That's what happens when you be strippers. They be like, my shit is cocoa caramel. I'm like, is that one word or they got
Anyway, man, we was digressing, man.
Earn Your Leisure, 3 words. Earn Your Apple, Spotify, and what else?
YouTube.
And YouTube.
3 words, not 1.
3 words.
3 words, not 1. No. So Rashad, man, thank you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out, at your schedule to come kick it with us. So the podcast I created, you know, deal with journeys. You know, I feel that
And you
we
definitely had
all
one.
we all
We all-
in a sense come from the same journey, but we just lack conversations, you know.
Mm.
And I think that a lot of people learn better just by like listening. So I definitely was able to learn a lot from you, you know, especially from your journey, you know. It helped me kind of put a lot of pieces together and understand, you know, why you do the things, you know, you do. So thank you for that, man. I applaud you, man. Continue the great work, you know, you and your boy. And I just know that you guys are on the right path, you know, to do something, you know, dope. So thank you, man.
Nah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Much success to you guys for sure. Blessing.
Appreciate you. Beloved.
The
anything-
marathon continues. Puma, you owe us millions of dollars. We coming for ours. Kev, do not edit me.
On the next one.
Do not edit me. We want our money, and we want it with interest. Point blank, period.
Yeah, so
Drew, I'm happy to
it's
see
the
you.
Hey Now podcast. Drew is here, and it's a wrap.
Drew, CEO! The CEO! The CEO! The CEO!
Yo, why you